That gives that person the discretion to say, you are not the right person.
Well, all he has to do, Your Honor, is...
Will it be electronically validated or just the person saying, per my investigation here, my verifications here, you are not the right person? Or say you are the right person, depending on his whim at that moment.
No, Your Honor.
We're talking of human intervention this time.
Yes, Your Honor. What the voter has to do is to establish his identity by saying, no, I'm that person and I can prove it to you.
Saying the person, the one in the precinct, will be the one, depending on his personal reason, not only to him, will say, you are not or you are the person. Even if the reverse is true. So is that discretionary on his part, or is that something that must be validated by the machine?
Mr. Chairman, the BI decides by a majority vote. So even if one says that you are not the voter, the two others can say that you are, and then all that he has to do is to present other documents. For example,
in that case, human intervention can override your computer.
No, sir, no, sir.
You said the majority of the BI, that's a majority of 3.
No, sir. What I was referring to is that for the 2010 elections, where we do not have, where we could not match all 46 or 47 million voters, those that do not have any biometrics data yet should establish their identity.
No, that's my question earlier. That biometric validation, is that going to be indicated by the machine, or the person will just interpret the machine?
In case, let's just say, Your Honor, that we have the AFIS running in full blast, and we have already matched all the records. So we have a very clean list. Now what you're asking me, Your Honor, is if a voter approaches in the BEI, can the BEI override what is stated there?
That's correct. This is what I call human intervention.
Yes, sir. And
which can override your computer system.
As I was explaining, Mr. Chairman, the voter has to establish his identity through different posts. He can have a school ID, a driver's license.
So the watchers are there. My point is, so what happens if there's a conflict between the person and the BI for reasons not only to the BIs mentioned by Congressman Magsaysay? The BI might be hostile to that person and prevent that person from voting, or allow that person to vote, even if that person, obviously, as indicated by the machine, is not the same person.
Director, in other words, the good congressman is saying, like, if I was the one asking, I can say, even if it's not in the computer, that yes, you can vote, or no, you cannot. Even if the computer says otherwise. Director.
The watcher, and you're also saying, Your Honor, that even though the watchers say that that is the same person, you're saying that...
Because that's happening today. And the machine is going to be only, it's a one way of counter-checking. In other words, it's an aid, it's not an absolute determinant of whether the person can vote or not. Because the BI is going to be the one to make the final determination on site. Anyway, maybe this is something that you should look at.
We'll take note of that.
Yeah, please, because otherwise it's not fail-safe. That's because the human intervention can still play a very critical role because of that discretion on the part of the BI, especially if one member of the BI is a dominant member.
We'll talk about that.
Now, my next question is, when is the deadline for the filing of certificates of candidacy?
The deadline, Your Honor, will be November 30, 2009, to give us time to prepare the ballots. Hopefully, by January, the ballots are already prepared.
So that is already written on stone?
Your Honor, we have not passed a resolution to that effect, but within the Commission and Bank, that is the sentiment of the Chair.
That's assuming that everything will go through with this.
That is correct, that is correct, ma'am.
And when a candidate files his certificate of candidacy, what is the role of the COMELEC? Is the COMELEC in a position to determine whether the candidate is a qualified candidate or not?
Your Honor, there are provisions in the Omnibus Election Code. One is that what is needed on our part to accept the certificate of candidacy that is being filed. We can, on our own, undertake disqualification proceedings or on the basis of a complaint.
On what ground would you disqualify a candidate?
Your Honor, this one could be a nuisance candidate.
Nuisance candidate.
That's correct.
But there's a process for that.
There is a hearing that is being conducted if one is to be declared a nuisance candidate.
What about the other disqualifications? What are the disqualifications for a candidate as far as the COMELEC is
Another
concerned?
ground would be if he is a foreign citizen. Let's say he is filing a candidate, he has a dual citizenship, and he executed an oath of allegiance without preparing.
How would you know that?
Papers are being submitted, Your Honor, please. If one files a certificate of candidacy, part of the certificate will be the oath of allegiance plus the affidavit of renunciation of the citizenship.
Okay. What about if former President Erap Estrada files his certificate of candidacy? What will be the position of the COMELEC in determining, how would you go through the process of determining whether he is qualified or not, or are you going to determine that?
With due respect to the good Congressman of Paranaque, I am sure this will reach our office. So I will not hazard or guess hazard the answer of this because I might be inhibited if I give my opinion on this, Your Honor.
No, but there must be a process. Precisely, that's why
correct, Your
I
Honor.
preface my question with how do you determine whether a candidate is qualified or not?
Well, the process will be a certificate of candidacy has to be filed. Now, there are two opinions on this, Your Honor. One is it is ministerial on the part of the COMELEC to accept the certificate of candidacy. The other opinion is that right away, the COMELEC can reject the certificate of candidacy. So I'll not give my opinion on this, Your Honor, because
So your position is that
the
the COMELEC can reject the certificate of candidacy. Okay, first, I'm not talking of the former president alone.
Yes,
So, for example, somebody files a certificate of candidacy and for some reason you say, you're not qualified because we heard you have a green card somewhere.
Your Honor, please, this is my personal opinion on this. I think it is ministerial on the part of the COMELEC to receive the certificates of candidacies without prejudging whether or not that candidate is a foreign citizen or disqualified.
And, okay, when will the ballots be printed?
The date is January 7, Your Honor.
So by January 7, the ballots will have to be printed. In other words, by January 7, you should have